Hi, guys. My name is Hope, and I will be talking about Ibrahim Traore today and telling you a bit about him. So, let's start with his early years. So, he was born in March 14th, 1988, in Kara Mohun Province, Burkina Faso. Um, and he grew up in a Muslim and Marxist ideal. Those were the beliefs that he was learning about and creating his main foundation in. He studied geology at the University of Ouagadougou. I probably completely butchered that, but that's where he studied geology. And during his time there, he was part of the Association of Muslim Students and the Marxist Association of Nationals des Étudiants de Burkina. I hope that I said that right. I do not speak French. And then during that time, he also graduated with honors. So this part actually shows you that first, if he graduated with honors, he must have been really smart and dedicated. He works hard. So he those this one thing shows you a lot about his own character already. And then also the fact that he was in different political associations, that he was already starting to be active in politics and his beliefs. So that shows that. And then also this picture right next to the phrasings and everything, that is Burkina Faso. So that is the region he was born into. And then somewhere in the top left is around the area that he was born into. So let's get into his early career. So after college, he attended the Jorge's Namoano Military Academy. He graduated from there. He became a soldier. And during his career, he actually participated in a number of counterinsurgency operations against Islamists and the Islamic State. There's a lot of war and conflict in the area that he lives in between Islamists and his people. There's a lot of violence that happens in his region, which is really sad because there's a lot of casualties from this. So he participated in a lot of those during his early career and even beyond. So he rose later to the ranks of captain, which again shows his dedication and how hard he works. That he was able to go all the way to captain during his career. And then that's a picture of him in his military uniform. Okay, so let's talk about his current career because he is still alive. So he is currently a Pan-Africanist leader of Burkina Faso. So he is part of that right now. He has been since 2022. So he has been for approximately 3 years now. He is 36 years old, and he has a wife and possibly children. One thing about him being Muslim, he is very religious, very religious. And so he really wanted to keep his family life private. That's one thing that's really important to him and something he stuck to so much that we don't know if he has children. We don't know even the name of his wife or who she is. So that kind of shows you how um, strict he is in his religion, which carries over to other aspects of his life and how he is politically and as president of Burkina Faso. And then a couple cool and interesting facts is that he is one of the youngest global leaders. And he, at the time that he rose into power, of Burkina Faso, he was the youngest serving president in the world. So this also shows, as I've said, in when he graduated with honors uh, in his geology degree, and also his military career when he became captain. Like that, and him being the youngest serving president at the time he came into power, this shows how hard he works, how dedicated he is to his work and his life, his goals. So he is so dedicated that he was able to rise up at this time. And also, I mean, takes a lot of intelligence to be able to get to the place he is. Okay, so let's talk about his character. When he was young, he started showing leadership qualities from a pretty young age. He, especially in college, um, this also shows that he had leadership qualities because he was in leadership and very active in the Muslim organization and the Marxist organization that he was in. So he showed leadership qualities from the time that he was young, and that helped him now as he is president. Now, ironically, he was also very quiet when he was young, which is not how he is now. Especially as president, you have to be able to be not quite outspoken, but able to talk in front of a lot of people, and you're around people all the time. So he's definitely not quiet anymore. And that leads me to the next thing, is that he is very charismatic. So generally charismatic people, they can be quiet, but most of them are more extroverted, and or at least they like to they talk more. So he's very charismatic. That's one reason I think that people love him so much, is because of his personality. Also, he's very brave. Just being in the military in general would be very courageous. But the fact that he was actively getting into the counterinsurgencies against Islam, and then you have to be pretty brave to be able to rise to the ranks of captain um, out of wartime. Um, and so that is kind of a bit of his character. But he also needed to be brave for the next thing I'm about to talk about. So, some major events and different things that he has done as president. Let's talk about how he actually became the president. So, January 2022, he helped stage a coup um, in Burkina Faso because he was so, um, because his group was so against the former movement and leadership that was there, not just the presidency, but also like America has Republicans and Democrats. That's kind of what they have, is they have one leader in their nation, or one group that's lead in their nation. Like right now, Republicans are, because Donald Trump is a Republican. So that party is in power. So that's kind of how their nation is. And so through this coup, Traore helped bring the patriotic movement for safeguard and restoration into power. And then the president was Paul Henry Santiago Damiba. Now, he was not a good president. He did not help his people. And so they staged another coup about 9 months later in September 2022. And now they deposed Damiba. And Traore is now president of Burkina Faso. And so now let's see his presidency. So, as you see in the picture, that is the Russian leader Putin with Traore. So originally, France used to be the main ally, and used to be the main colonial presence in Burkina Faso. So what Traore did was he basically, just like Damiba, he deposed France, took them out of the equation. And because Russia believed closer in the same kind of ideals, like Marxist ideals, um, Russia's not Muslim, but they are not democratic, they're not westernized. And so Traore and Russia have closer beliefs, which makes them better allies. So he took out France and he brought in Russia. Okay, so now he also created more alliances. That's one of the main things that he's really done during his presidency is create alliances for people, for his people. And so he actually helped start the Sahel States Alliance, which is now called the Sahel States Confederation. This is an alliance with the neighboring nations. A couple of these are the Niger and Mali nations. And he wanted to really keep his alliances um, in Africa, and he wanted to get rid of the foreign powers and presence in his own nation. So he wanted to more power for Africa, get rid of the colonial nations who have done a lot of damage to them. And then he also economically helped his nation a lot. Again, with the alliance thing, he withdrew from the economic community of West African states. So this is more westernized economy, and he wanted to stay away from like the democratic nations, wanted to stay away from these foreign powers, and they were influencing this economic community. So he actually withdrew from that, and he started capitalizing on their own resources. The biggest thing that he capitalized on was the gold that they had in his land. So they started capitalizing on the gold mining economy. He created a group and like a business, kind of like an organization for the gold economy. So he made um, different places, like companies have like 15% stakes or something into the gold mining, so that there's more stability in his in the gold and the organization he created. And then he also, there are other different economic provisions that he started to capitalize on a lot, such as cotton. And so he's really helped the economy more so than in previous past times. And then he also really helped with security and governance within his nation, which is not surprising since he was in the military and he was captain. That's become a really big thing in his life. So it's not really surprising that he would want to make his nation more secure, but especially because there are so many jihadist insurgencies and political instability in his nation that he wanted to make sure that there is more security for his people, because these jihadist insurgencies are actually causing high casualty rates, and it's really bad and harmful for the humanitarian aspects of his nation. It's really caused a bad impact on his people. So those are the different compliments he's done so far. So the last thing we're going to talk about is his legacy. So he is still alive, which means that there are a lot of things that he can still do in his life. So he's still working on his legacy, but thus far in his presidency, his people really love him, which is a really big thing. that his people love him because the past couple were not helping them. They weren't good for the nation. But instead, he got into power and he actually helped strengthen the military. He reduced foreign dependency. He helped the economy. And then he also restored national pride. And of course, he's still working on all of these things. He's only been in presidency for about 3 years. So there's really only so much you can do in that time, but he's still working on it. He's still strengthening his country and making it better for his people. And then still trying to make his nation safer. Because there are still casualties from the Islam nation states who are trying to go after him. And then, unbelievingly, he has survived 19 assassination attempts, which is a lot of attempts on his life. But like I was saying before, bravery, courage, he is still president despite having been almost killed 19 times since being president. So, courage, bravery, definitely have to have a lot of that to be able to continue forward with what he's doing. And then one other thing is when I was doing my research, there's a lot of media on him, and a lot of people were kind of surprised about how much media actually focuses on him, especially for such a small nation state that he has so much focus. Now, part of this is all probably because how young he is, how much he's been working on the nation and helping to secure it and grow it. And of course, there are people who love him and hate him, and so they want to analyze everything he does. And so there's a lot of media coverage on him, even in the United States. There's media coverage. But also, nations are watching him, Western nations especially, because he is an ally of Russia, which is not good for America or Britain. So he is more of an enemy of Western cultures, especially since he has so disregarded all westernized influence in the time that he's become president. So he's really just said out the door, like, all of that, I don't want it. And so he's definitely being watched for what he's doing, because you don't know what's going to happen. So anyways, that is Ibrahim Traore. He is very interesting to learn about, and I hope that you found him interesting also and learned a lot from this video. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great last week of the semester and have a great morning, evening, night.